Hey Chiefs Kingdom, big show planned for you guys today, but first, I want to remind you guys to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, or maybe this is the first time you've watched this YouTube channel. We cover the latest Chiefs news, rumors, weekly mailbags. We do a lot of different videos for you guys all off-season long. More subscribers equals more videos, so hit that big red button and subscribe today. Also, share that link with a friend. It's youtube.com/ChiefsTV. You're watching the Chiefs Report by Chat Sports. I am your host, Harrison Graham. Let's get into today's Chiefs news and rumors here. And we'll go ahead and start with Alex Smith. How about signing him? Because the Washington football team is reportedly set to release the veteran quarterback to save Washington about $14 million in cap space. As you guys know, Alex Smith spent 5 seasons with Kansas City and had a pretty good half-decade under Andy Reid with the Kansas City Chiefs, and I believe he would be a pretty solid backup to Patrick Mahomes in more ways than one. Obviously, he knows the system. I think he could play a little bit, although last year he obviously was a bit of a shell of his former self, but I think if you get him in a familiar environment, if he had to play in a limited capacity, he could at least play at a decent enough level with the weapons Kansas City has. I would love to see Kansas City go out and sign Alex Smith. I think it would be a great story. I think it would continue the great story of Alex Smith and his comeback to go back to really where he racked up most of his numbers throughout his NFL career, obviously a bit with San Francisco as well. But to bring him back to be Mahomes' backup quarterback, I'm definitely interested in doing that. So we'll go ahead and ask you guys, do you want Alex Smith back on the Chiefs? What do you think the Chiefs should do? Type S for sign him. Type P for pass. You're not interested. I'd like to see it. Obviously, money's a factor, but what is the market going to be for an Alex Smith? I don't think it's going to be that much. I'm going to type my S for sign. Go ahead and let me know what you guys think. Bring him back. Let's do it. Let's run it back with Alex Smith as Patrick Mahomes' backup quarterback. Again, he knows the system. He knows Andy Reid very well. And him and Mahomes actually have a really solid relationship. Alex Smith was one of the first people Patrick Mahomes texted after he won the Super Bowl just a couple of years ago. I think this makes a lot of sense. Now, Alex Smith is likely going to hold out hope that he can start somewhere, but how many opportunities are really going to be out there for Alex Smith to be a starter? Maybe a couple of teams he could have a chance to start with, but I think that's pretty unlikely. He had a good 5 seasons with Kansas City, and while he's not a starting caliber quarterback at this point in his career, I actually do think he would be an upgrade over a guy like Chad Henne, who's under contract for 1 more year. Kansas City can cut him, save about $1.5 million against the cap in dead cap money, and then you can go sign Alex Smith for that money. I think that makes a lot of sense. Jordan Ta'amu, Anthony Gordon are on futures deals. One of those guys can maybe make the team or be the practice squad quarterback as a long-term project there, but I love the idea of signing Alex Smith as a backup quarterback. He's 36 now. Maybe he plays 1 to 2 more years, and you've got your bridge backup for now, and maybe one of these young guys like Ta'amu or Anthony Gordon ends up developing into your long-term answer behind Mahomes. So pick a backup for me. You got Chad Henne, who's on the roster, or you could try and bring a guy like Alex Smith back into the fold. Type AS for Smith, type CH for Chad Henne. Let's go ahead and hear it from you guys. Could Eric Fisher be ready by week 1 of the NFL season? That's another topic on the Chiefs Report by Chat Sports. Brett Veach met with the media and talked about a variety of guys, and this was the biggest stunner, saying that, yeah, we think he could be ready by mid-August. I don't know if you guys know this, but he tore his Achilles and had surgery for it on January 29th. That would be less than 7 months recovery on a torn Achilles for a guy who's over the age of 30 and over 300 pounds. That would be some fantastic sports medicine work if the Kansas City Chiefs pulled that off. Here's what Brett Veach had to say in bigger detail, basically referring to the Chiefs head trainer there, Rick Burkholder, saying, based on Rick and his medical staff, he projects a mid-August return. Now listen, how that works is everything is different and everyone recovers differently. So I think with that injury and the time leading up to the season, Rick has here a mid-August return. This feels pretty optimistic if we're being totally honest. The best athletes in the world get back in about 8 or 9 months with the torn Achilles. You're telling me Eric Fisher, who's a 320-pound left tackle, is going to be back in 6.5, 7 months? that feels like a reach to me. Now, weirder things have happened. Medicine is always evolving, and there's new rehab practices, XYZ. But you know what? I got to tell you, that would be a minor miracle, in my opinion, if he could actually be ready prior to week 1. Like, not just for week 1, but maybe for a little bit of training camp as well. I would be shocked if this happened. To me, I was hypothesizing, hey, can he be ready by midseason? You know, week 8, week 9, get him back into form for the second half of the season for the playoff run. But he could be ready by week 1. I'm not sure I believe it, but it is pretty optimistic and interesting that Brett Veach is throwing that out there. I don't think he would throw that out there based on nothing. His medical trainer truly believes that he could have a chance to return before week 1 of the 2021 season. Go ahead and predict it for me, because I still find this hard to believe, but we'll let you guys weigh in on this one. Will Eric Fisher be ready by week 1? Type Y for yes, type N for no. I'm still going to say no. I got to see more. I got to see more evidence. It's very early on in the rehab process, but go ahead and get your votes in. Something that is a no-brainer and obvious is that you should get a Patrick Mahomes jersey for $79.99 at chatsports.com/MahomesRed. Get this red Chiefs jersey of Patrick Mahomes for $80. It's a great deal out there. That link is in the comments. It's in the description. All sizes are available. chatsports.com/MahomesRed. Click that link and you guys can shop today. Remember, only $80 at chatsports.com/MahomesRed. More injury news to get into. How about Mitchell Schwartz here, who we've gotten a little more context, I think, on this injury. Veach was asked about all the guys who've been banged up and said that Mitch just recently had his disc worked on. So maybe it was a herniated disc. Maybe that was the issue bugging him all year, because all we heard all year, he's day-to-day with the back injury. Well, that could mean a million things. Well, now it sounds like it was some sort of a herniated disc, and the Chiefs are optimistic that they will get him back for training camp. Now, just because he gets back and gets cleared in time for camp doesn't mean there won't be lingering issues, doesn't mean there couldn't be a problem down the road, because once you have one back procedure, that kind of typically leads to more problems in the future, as we've seen with several NFL players in the past. Now, we've talked about Fisher, we've talked about Schwartz, and both reports are fairly optimistic. However, there still has to be some concern. I don't think we have the green light on both of these guys for 2021 by any means. Plus, on top of that, Kelechi Osemele's a free agent. He finished the season on IR as well. Both your centers are free agents. Laurent Duvernay-Tardif didn't even play last year. He opted out, as did Lucas Niang, and guys like Andrew Wiley are free agents as well. I still have, maybe not overly major O-line concerns, but still pretty significant concerns with this offensive line. I still think it's a target of need come draft time and or in free agency for the Chiefs, but at least it seems like there is some potential good news as we advance over the next couple of months and get on into mini camps, training camps, and then obviously into the 2021 season. I'm still concerned, but maybe those concerns have been scaled back just a little bit based on what Brett Veach said earlier today. So how are you guys feeling about the Chiefs O-line right now? Don't project. How are you feeling today? 10 being you're terrified, this is a disaster. 1 being everything's fine, they're all going to be ready to go by August. I'm at like a 6 still. Like, I'm still, pretty concerned. I'm not panicking, but I still think the offensive line is an area of consideration once the draft and free agency roll around, which they'll both be here before we know it. Let's talk Patrick Mahomes as well before we wrap things up. His injury update, less severe than the rest, right? And we kind of knew that. Toe surgery on February 12th, which turf toe's been a problem for some guys in the past, but Brett Veach says they're projecting about a 3-month recovery, so a couple of weeks into that already. I would say, June 1st to be safe. That's 3.5 months there. Probably locked in, loaded, can get going for some of those mini camps if the NFL decides to proceed with those, which I think they will. Either way, he should be ready well before training camp into July and into August. I don't have any concerns here. I'm not worried. Patrick Mahomes, even if, let's say, 5 to 10% of that mobility is gone after this, which I don't think that's the case, but let's say it is. that's still not a major issue. He can win from the pocket. He'll still be mobile enough. No concerns for Mahomes moving forward, in my opinion. Obviously, we'll have to wait and see how he plays, but I'm just not worried. This guy is going to be on a mission this year. You can tell after they lost that Super Bowl based on what a lot of the guys said after the game, that they will come back motivated more than ever after losing to the Buccaneers and the way they lost. I think Mahomes will be on a mission. He's going to hit this rehab hard, and he'll try to get back for these offseason programs and be ready to chase another ring here in 2021 and on into our, obviously, early 2022 when the playoffs will roll around. Who's ready for next season? I'm fired up for some football already. Type me in the comments. I want to hear it from you guys. Hey, we've got a fun offseason first. Free agency, draft, training camp. We cover it all. Type me if you're fired up like I am, and we will see you guys next time.